It's Ash from Super Videos back for another video for Season 11 of The Walking Dead. They recently released the official titles for the first 8 episodes of The Walking Dead Season 11, also known as the final season Part 1. As you know, the final season of The Walking Dead is broken into 3 parts, which are also 8 episodes. Of course, the titles for the first 8 episodes has been released, which we're going to take a look at. Some of these titles are very interesting and I would say revealing, but we're going to get into all of that when we return. So stay tuned, we'll be right back to talk more about these titles. Alright, as always, before we jump into this video, if you're not a subscriber and enjoyed the content by the end, consider subscribing to join our community. We're on the road to 5,000 subscribers, so if you're not a subscriber, make sure to subscribe to help me get to the 5,000 subscriber mark. Also, if you do enjoy the content, share and smash the like button, and don't forget to press the bell to be notified when we upload on the channel. Now, before we dive into the title discussions, as you can see, I created this pretty cool looking poster using the latest teaser that they released for Season 11. If you haven't checked out my breakdown of that teaser, make sure to go check it out. There's also some very interesting reveals in that teaser. So if you haven't checked out that breakdown, make sure to do it because there is some awesome stuff in that teaser. Let's waste no more time and jump right into these titles. So the first 8 episode titles are as follows. What I found very interesting is they actually named the first 2 episodes Akrion Part 1, Akrion Part 2. You may ask, what does Akrion mean? Well, if we look at Google and also the Walking Dead Wikia for Season 11, Akrion refers to one of the rivers of the underworld within Greek mythology, which was known as the River of Woes. Now, as far as the first 2 episodes, there's actually a plot or a synopsis, which is pretty awesome. I'm gonna read the synopsis. So Season 11 Episode 1, which is called Akrion Part 1, has a plot that reads: returning to Alexandria from a critical food mission, the group realizes it isn't enough. Maggie proposes a new plan, potentially a suicide mission. What choice do they have? They must find more food for all their people in order to survive and efficiently rebuild Alexandria. If they don't, Alexandria falls, taking them down with it. Once on the road, a violent storm erupts, forcing them underground into a subway tunnel. I'm assuming that this is the link between the title Akrion. Maybe the tunnel symbolizes the river, which is Akrion. I could be wrong, but that's the connection that I'm making right now. And also the storm is something that could potentially tie in with the title Akrion. The other thing I do want to mention here is that the subway, train station, or tunnel that they are referring to is the tunnels in the previous teasers and also the images and behind the scenes footage that we've seen. The plot continues to read: as nerves fray and suspicions increase, chaos ensues. The terror is relentless as our people get a glimpse of what Maggie and her group endured prior to returning to Alexandria. This is almost definitely referring to the Reapers, so we will most definitely see the Reapers in the first episode back, which is pretty awesome. It's gonna be interesting to see what they're all about. They might also connect somehow to the chaos that's gonna erupt in the underground tunnels. Meanwhile, those captured by the strange soldiers are relocated to another undisclosed location. Now, strange soldiers here is actually referring to the Commonwealth, so those captured is actually referring to Yumiko, Eugene, Ezekiel, and Princess. So we're not only gonna see something with the Reapers, but also the intro to the Commonwealth storyline in this episode as well, which is pretty awesome. That takes us to Season 11 Episode 2, Akrion Part 2, which is plotted as the group discovers a member did not make it to safety inside the subway car, which is actually a pretty big reveal if you ask me, but it is what it is. Surrounded by walkers, going back out into the tunnels to search is a guaranteed death wish. All eyes are on Negan as the rule of survival shifts. It is no longer no man left behind. The motto now is we keep going. With little ammo and energy remaining, the group must ready themselves as the walkers have found a way inside the subway train. So someone's gonna be left behind. Negan is probably gonna volunteer to go back to save everyone. We're probably gonna see others volunteer and go with him, so it's not just gonna be Negan, and they may potentially be trapped in there as they go to rescue whoever is left behind, which is pretty interesting but very repetitive if you think about it. The plot continues. Meanwhile, Daryl is in his own intense, hellish situation, trying to find Dog and finding more than he expected, which is interesting. Not sure what to make of that. So it appears that Daryl's storyline is a little separate from the Tunnel storyline at this point, which is very interesting. Yumiko challenges the process at the Commonwealth outpost, which threatens her future and that of Eugene, Ezekiel, and Princess. So it appears that Yumiko is gonna go head to head with the Commonwealth leadership, which is very interesting. Or at least, if not the leadership, then the leadership at the Commonwealth outpost that she's staying at, which is extremely interesting. Now, there's a possibility that Yumiko could be directly connected to Commonwealth, but we're gonna cover that on a separate video. And that's pretty much it. That's the plot of Season 11, Episode 2, which is Akrion Part 2. The writers of the first two episodes, Akrion Part 1 and Part 2, are Angela Kang and Jim Barnes. Obviously, we know Angela Kang. She is the main showrunner. She's been the showrunner since Season 9. So it's going to be interesting to see how she kickstarts this season, the final season, and what she's got cooking up for us. Now, when it comes to the other writer, Jim Barnes, they wrote 4 other episodes in Season 10 and nothing else outside these 2 episodes, of course. Those 4 episodes in Season 10 that Jim Barnes wrote were Ghosts, which was Season 10 Episode 3, which was the Carol episode, if you remember. She was hallucinating seeing Henry in that episode. It was a pretty good episode in Season 10. He also wrote Stalker, which was Season 10 Episode 10, which was the episode where Alpha went head to head with Daryl. That was a pretty cool episode as well. Some very nice imagery there. Also, he wrote Season 10 Episode 16, the Season 10 finale, A Certain Doom, and also one of the bonus episodes, One More, which was Season 10 Episode 19, which featured Robert Patrick, which was also a pretty solid episode. So all of that is to say, everything that Jim Barnes was a writer for was a pretty solid episode. And also Angela Kang's been at the center of some pretty good episodes. So as far as writing goes, I think these 2 episodes are gonna be rock solid. When it comes to directing, these 2 episodes are gonna be directed by Kevin Dowling, who hasn't actually directed any Walking Dead episodes in the past, and the things that he has been a part of, I haven't watched myself, so I can't really comment on. But just going with the writing alone, I think there's a solid chance that these episodes are gonna turn out pretty solid. That takes us to Season 11, Episode 3, which is called Hunted. Now, when I hear that title, I immediately connect it to the Reapers. Obviously, as we saw in the first bonus episode, Season 10, Episode 17, which was called Home Sweet Home, we saw that the Reapers were hunting down the survivors. So the thing that jumps out at me when I hear that title is the Reapers. Obviously, there's the other group, which were the Masks. Again, at this point, we don't know if they're a new group or if they are with the Reapers, but I'm assuming that they're gonna connect somehow to the first few episodes as well, because we've seen them in the teasers, trailers, and the pictures that they released from the first few episodes of Season 11. Next up is Season 11, Episode 4, which is called Rendition. Now, when I hear that title, what comes to my head is Commonwealth. Obviously, it could be something different, something related to the Reapers, or something related to the new group, possible new group, but at the same time, I feel like this has to refer to the Commonwealth. Next up is Season 11, Episode 5, which is called Out of the Ashes. Very interesting title, not sure what to make of that. We do know that Alexandria might be attacked, and there might be some sort of a battle at Alexandria. So I think there's a possibility that this episode could be the start of that. Not necessarily meaning we're gonna see the battle in that episode, but there might be like a mini skirmish or setup for some sort of battle in this episode. Next up is Season 11, Episode 6, which is called On the Inside. This episode, again, to me sounds like something that might be related to the Commonwealth. I could obviously be wrong about that. Next up is Season 11, Episode 7, Promises Broken. Again, something that I feel could connect to Commonwealth, but there's a possibility that they might connect that to something with the Reapers. Maybe earlier on, there is some sort of a pact between the group, meaning the survivors and the Reapers, and someone doesn't hold their end of the bargain, which would connect to Promises Broken, or it could be something related to the Commonwealth. Maybe this is where we're gonna get to the Stephanie storyline. We find out that she's been keeping a secret from her community. For non-comic readers, Stephanie is from the Commonwealth. We're gonna see her and get to know her a lot better this season for sure. That takes us to the mid-season finale for season 11, the first mid-season finale, which is called For Blood. Obviously, this hints at the possibility we're gonna see a battle in this episode, and a possibility that there is gonna be bloodshed and some character deaths. Other than that, there isn't too much I can say about this. The title is pretty generic, I would say. The writer for this episode is Eric Mountain, who was the writer for season 10 episode 19, which was One More, with Jim Barnes, who we just talked about. Again, pretty good episode, pretty good writing overall. So I think writing wise, there's a good chance that this is going to be a solid episode. Other than that, he hasn't written anything else on The Walking Dead except for obviously this episode. Now when it comes to the director is Sharad Raju, who's directed only one other episode, which was What We Become, which was season 10, episode 13, Michonne's final episode, which was a pretty good episode directing wise. So I think we're on good hands. And that's pretty much the titles for the episodes. One final thing I do want to talk about is of course the premiere for season 11 is August 22nd. We only have a few weeks left, so that's pretty awesome. I'm super excited for the return of The Walking Dead for season 11. And of course, the very next episode is the following week, August 29th. The next episode the following week, which is September 5th, followed by the next one, which is September 12th, followed by the next one, which is September 19th, where we actually see 1 week of no episodes, which is the week of the 26th. And then we get the next episode on October 3rd, followed by the mid-season finale on October 10th. And obviously, there's probably gonna be a break in between this episode and the start of the next 8 episodes. But that's pretty much everything that I wanted to talk about in this video. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, make sure to share and smash the like button. If you're not a subscriber, subscribe to join our community and press the bell to be notified when we upload. That's it for this video. See you next time for another super video.